Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer and welcome to my daily silver stacking video. Thank you for tuning in. Today is giveaway day, folks. You might be winning some silver tonight. I'm picking two winners. The announcement video is going to be at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard. It was originally 5 p.m., but I know a lot of people live on the West Coast. It'll be 2 p.m. for them. I want it to be more of a late night vibe, not a middle of the day vibe. So yeah, stay tuned, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard. That is when two of you are going to win some silver. Now, this video is insane. We're talking about an asteroid full of gold and silver that's worth more than 10,000 quadrillion dollars. And no, that's not a made-up number. And yes, that's real. We're talking about a 124-mile wide space rock in the asteroid belt that will be arriving by 2026 that, if returned, would make everyone a billionaire and destabilize the economy. Now, will they do that? No, but that can give you an idea of how much gold and silver, and I'm sure other metals, are in this asteroid. I mean, this is insane. And if they actually are able to recover this thing, that would be a game changer. We would never have to worry about gold and silver again. And what would that do to the price of silver? Who knows? Because we know silver's scarce right now. We know we'll be running out of silver by the year 2030. I mean, I literally showed a video of the below ground supply versus the above ground supply versus global production. And by 2030, it will be out. I mean, that's a scary thought, but it is extremely bullish for silver stackers. But who knows? Now, this seems like an impossible project, but nowadays, especially with SpaceX and stuff, who knows? Now, let's just jump into this. I mean, this is insane. So, NASA is sending a mission to study the Psyche asteroid that will arrive in 2026. It is a 124-mile wide space rock in the asteroid belt between Jupiter and Mars. Psyche is full of metals worth around 10,000 quadrillion dollars, and if returned, it would make everyone a billionaire and destabilize the economy. A new study used multiple telescopes to create a temperature map of the rock. This allowed them to determine there are metal grains covering the surface. Now, the Psyche asteroid belt, or the asteroid, is packed full of precious metals. So let's look at this. So to help in the mission, a new temperature map has been created by a team from Caltech in Pasadena, California, to provide insight into its surface properties. Normally, infrared images of a space rock provide a single pixel of data, but using the Atomica Large Millimeter Submillimeter Array in Chile, researchers were able to get a 50-pixel resolution, which we'll actually look at in a second, and learn more about the surface of the space rock. They were able to determine it has a metallic surface made up of at least 30% metal, and the rocks on the surface are peppered with metal grains. And I mean, that might not sound crazy that it's just peppered with metal grains, and that's 30% of the surface, but this thing is 124 miles wide. And if it's on the surface, remember, gold and silver is made under the surface, so who knows how much. They're predicting 10,000 quadrillion dollars, but and plus you can't really compare precious metal to dollars term. If we're talking about right now the price of gold and silver and other metals, that's how much they're guesstimating. But with a number like that, that's an extreme guesstimation, right? I mean, it could be a lot more, it could be a lot less. I don't even think the human brain can calculate that massive amount of, obviously the human brain can't even understand how big of a number a trillion is. So 10,000 quadrillion, it just floats right by our heads that we can't comprehend that. All we know is that's a crap load of precious metals. So it is hoped this will, NASA will, in its mission, have more detailed starting point in its observations. So here it is. So this is the first high-resolution measurement of the surface temperature of the asteroid Psyche, confirming it's packed full of 10,000 quadrillion worth of precious metals. And I mean, it's not confirming it, but I mean, it does confirm there's a lot on here. And it's funny that the asteroid is called Psyche. I mean, it almost seems like a troll, but it's not, right? These are actual pictures. I mean, this stuff is actually released. So to help, so we already covered that. So Psyche 16 was originally discovered in 1852 and is believed to be the remnants of a protoplanet destroyed by a hit-and-run collision when the solar system was forming. Unlike other rocky or icy bodies, Psyche 16 is suspected to be made of mostly iron, nickel, could be worth quadrillions of dollars in potential mining value. Ahead of the NASA mission, the team from California carried out a close examination of the millimeter wavelength emissions from the asteroid. This allowed them to produce the first temperature map of the space rock, providing new insight into its surface properties. The findings are a step forward, or a step toward resolving the mystery of the origin of this unusual object, which has been thought by some to be a chunk of core of ill-fated protoplanet, according to study authors. Now, of course, there's going to be a lot of speculation. Oh, this is cool. I didn't even see this part yet. And this also kind of dives into and branches off into space mining, which in a second, after this article, I do want to dig up some stuff about space mining. I actually just thought of that on the top of my head now. I haven't even found anything yet, but I'm going to pause, after this article, I am about to look at that and just take this video a step deeper, because this stuff is interesting and it definitely could be something that we need to look out for in the precious metals world. So we think that fragments of the cores and mantles and the crust of these objects remain today in the form of asteroid. And if that's true, it gives us our only real opportunity to directly study the cores of planet-like objects. Studying such, relatively tiny objects that are so far from Earth, with Psyche as far as 200 million miles away, poses a significant challenge to planetary scientists. Now, another thing is, this arrives in 2026, so by then, 5 years later, I mean, we can advance. Look how much we've advanced in the last 5 years. Think about 5 years from now, how far we could advance, especially with SpaceX and teaming up with NASA. I mean, it might be more realistic in 5 years than from now. Typically, thermal observations from Earth, which measure the light emitted by an object itself rather than light from a sun reflected off that object, are infrared wavelengths and can produce only 1 pixel images of asteroids. However, that single pixel contains a lot of information on an asteroid, such as the thermal inertia, or how fast it heats up in sunlight and cools in darkness, which also can explain how they can tell the metal property. So an artist's depiction of what the Psyche 16 spacecraft will look like, it is slated to launch in August 2022. That's pretty cool. So low thermal inertia is typically associated with layers of dust, while high thermal inertia may indicate rocks on the surface. However, discerning one type of landscape from another is difficult. Viewing each surface location at the many times of the day helps provide greater levels, and there's some typos there, so that's not good, but greater levels of detail and interpretation with less ambiguity in the terms. This provides a more reliable prediction of the landscape before the arrival of the NASA probe, allowing the mission to gather more reliable data. So let's look. I want to look more into the precious metals part of this. I only like telling you guys stuff you need to know. When it's this random, I don't like that. I mean, you guys clicked on the video for a specific reason, and I'm just going to talk about that. So if you do want to learn more about, the scientific part of this and all that, the link's always in the description. So because the surface emission is affected by the presence of metal on the surface, their finding indicates Psyche's surface is no less than 30% metal. So a smooth, solid surface emits a well-organized, polarized light, but the light emitted by Psyche was scattered, suggesting surface rocks are peppered with metallic grains. So Wow. That is crazy. So I'm trying to just, kind of skim through this to see if there's anything else that's important. So no, here's some more interesting stuff. Wow, this just got a lot crazier. So why are asteroids worth so much? It may be 230 million miles away from Earth, but this asteroid could be worth a small fortune. A small fortune. Psyche 16 is one of the most mysterious objects in our solar system, and scientists could be soon getting close-up views thanks to newly confirmed NASA mission. 10,000 quadrillion. Its value would be large enough to destroy commodity prices and cause the world's economy, worth 73.3 or $7 trillion, to collapse. So Dr. Elkins Tanton has calculated that the iron in Psyche 16 alone would be worth 10,000 quadrillion dollars. Assuming the market for asteroid materials on Earth, this could cause the value of precious metals to plummet, completely devaluing all holdings, including those of government and all companies involving mining, distribution, and trading of such commodities. So that's kind of a warning to us that if we recover this in 5 years, there might be so much gold and silver we could be wiping our butt with it. I mean, we could be making houses out of gold and silver. You might be wearing some gold and silver shoes one day. Your entire toilet, no, matter of fact, your entire house could be covered, layered in gold to a T. And gold will be cheaper than water. Gold will be the cheapest thing on the earth. Rocks that are outside or in your backyard will be worth more than a nugget of gold, because that's how much gold and silver we'll have, ladies and gentlemen. So anyways, let's jump into space mining. So all that glitters may be gold. That's what scientists think about this shiny Massachusetts-sized asteroid that may be a chock full of precious metals. And they are also talking about the Psyche 16 because, an illustration, Psyche mission near the metal asteroid Psyche. It's funny because the last article was talking about it being all nickel, and this one talking about it could be actually more precious metals. So I do want to look at actual space mining instead of just looking at Psyche, which we already did. So let's look at this. So yeah, even they're saying experts caution that even if Psyche holds a lot of precious metals and it can be brought back to Earth, the feat would require technology and infrastructure that doesn't exist yet. The monetary value could be much lower. Psyche is a huge asteroid, and if it is all highly concentrated in metal, then yes, that's an exorbitant amount. But obviously, if you bring such a large amount, the market will go down. And he says he agreed it might make more sense to use metal mined from Psyche in space rather than return it to Earth. We could use metals or icy rock materials in the future to build settlements, which will build electronic components for its use in space. Wow, that's crazy. But anyways, let's look more at space mining. So, asteroid mining. Asteroid mining is the hypothetical exploitation of materials from asteroids and other minor planets, including near-Earth objects. Difficulties include the high cost of spaceflight, unreliable identification of asteroids which are suitable for mining, and ore extraction challenges. Thus, terrestrial mining remains only means of raw mineral acquisition used today. So the research done by asteroid sample return research missions such as the completed Hayabusa and the Hayabusa 2, and in progress, the ORIS provides data that could possibly enable a study of future asteroid mining, although this was not the primary focus of these missions. These missions are complex endeavors and return a small amount of material, and that's the expense of $300 million, and the Hayabusa 2, which is $800 million to $1.6 billion. Though these small samples are enough for researchers to study and analyze, there are major technical hurdles in the way of potential asteroid mining, and asteroid mining has shifted to a more distant long-term goal, and some asteroid mining companies have pivoted to a more general purpose propulsion technology. And yeah, I mean, that's insane. I mean, to think that this is even possible by 2026 is almost silly, especially since they're saying they don't even have the technology yet. But it definitely is something that they are going to have to look into more, as you know, as the year 2030, they're saying that we will run out of silver. Now, here's some extraction techniques. There's surface mining, there's shaft mining, which could be a mine could be dug into the asteroid and then extracted through the shaft. Requires precise knowledge and engineer accuracy of the asteroid location or astrolocation. I mean, magnetic rakes, which an asteroid with high metal content may be covered in loose grains, can be gathered by means of a magnet, and that's looking like what the Psyche 16 would be because it's peppered on the surface. So there's heating, there's Mond process, self-replicant machines, and here's some failed mining projects. So on April 24, 2012, a plan was announced by billionaire entrepreneurs to mine asteroids for their resources. The company was called Planetary Resources, and its founders include aerospace entrepreneurs. Wow, they actually tried this in 2012. What the heck? I mean, they're talking about not having the technology today. Imagine in 2012 trying to do something like this. And obviously, it's billionaire entrepreneurs that were trying to get that extra dollar, but probably, I mean, they did lose a lot of money because it says failed mining projects. But they're billionaires, you know. I mean, that's nothing to them. But they plan to create a fuel depot in space by 2020 by using water from asteroids, splitting it into liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen for rocket fuel. From there, it could be shipped to Earth for orbit or for refueling commercial satellites or spacecraft. And then in 2020, the scheme was wound down and all hardware assets were auctioned off. Wow. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is... Hold up. Scarcity fundamentals. I'm trying to see if they mention a little bit of like why this is so important. Doesn't look like it. I guess a little bit right here. Continued development in asteroid mining techniques and technology will help to increase mineral discoveries at the cost of extracting, especially platinum group metals on Earth rises. The cost of extracting the same resources from celestial bodies declines due to technological innovations around space exploration. And this would increase strength as the cost of platinum increased. New supplies would also come to market in the form of jewelry and recycled electronic equipment. So like we buy platinum businesses like the we buy gold businesses that exist now. Interesting stuff. What do you think about this? I mean, what do you think about this stuff? Do you think this is just crazy talk? Do you think that there is something to this? And do you think that someday this could just simply devalue gold and silver if they find enough to really bring back in the 10,000 quadrillion dollars amount? I mean, what do you think this means for silver in the future or gold in the future? I'm interested in what you think about this. I think this is something much further out than we're kind of talking about right now, but it's still something as we advance technologically that could be a reality. But yeah, so anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. If you thought this video was educational, informational, at least entertaining, which I think it was all three, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and enter the giveaway because there's only a couple hours left. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.